I think it's important that the church be the church during times like these, and it's really important. Sometimes I'm not hesitant making a statement, but sometimes I wonder if the statement is enough. But we'll do what we can. I hope that my life reflects my values even more than this statement does. But as of the time of this recording, we have just now begun the process of regathering our church in person after a global pandemic that has kept us at a distance for the longest span of consecutive weekends in my lifetime. It would be ignorant and irresponsible of me as a local pastor to not address the current state of our nation when it comes to the recent murders of George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery, and the years of injustices experienced by our brothers and sisters of color. Weeks ago, I told the staff that I was going to be taking a digital detox. I asked Elder Dr. Michael Hudson to change the passwords on my Facebook and Instagram accounts, to not give them back to me for 100 days. I asked our team to post on my behalf simply to keep the church in the loop of what was going on during the week. This break from the never-ending news cycle and the Facebook fatigue that I was feeling came at a really weird time. It can appear, though, that I'm not engaged in current cultural events, as I'm not receiving a lot of real-time updates, as my screen time has diminished by 73% during this digital detox. Even as the time of this statement, I'm not online except for email and the occasional YouTube video. If I seem slower to respond online, it is simply because I am working on making a difference more than I am working on making statements. To that end, my calling is neither judge nor politician. I'm not responsible to adjudicate what happened in Minneapolis. I'm not responsible to promote policy solutions. My calling is pastor. So I'm responsible to teach my people how to think and respond biblically, both to the tragedy in Minneapolis, but even more so in the way that it affects our neighbors right here. The principle of moral proximity means I am most concerned with how my flock are treating each other and treating outsiders in response both to the most recent tragic events and the sins of racism, prejudice, and discrimination that have plagued our country for centuries. My dad made mention of it this week, that it feels like he's reliving the same injustices of his childhood in the 60s. That part is the scariest, where we have advanced so much as a people, yet the hate in our hearts should have expired a long time ago. Some would say that this is a human condition of the fallen world, and I would say that that is not a condition without a cure, and that these actions, that they do not have answers, they do. We can do better, and we must do better. As a people and as a nation, we have a long way to go, and much healing still needs to happen. Our African American neighbors, they're hurting. They are in pain, they are frustrated, they are tired, and quite frankly, they are fed up. And I am too. It is no longer enough. It is no longer good enough to be a quiet non-racist. We must now be vocally anti-racist. And I, Pastor Mike Santiago, both as a man, a Christian, and a pastor of Focus Church, vehemently and openly reject all forms of racism, both systemic and individual. Today, I will not put our majority black elder board in front of you to try to prove to you that we are diverse. I will not simply share a post that would get likes, shares, and comments. Instead, Ashton and I have given financially to an organization that combats the rising tide of racism and bigotry in this country. And when I say given financially, we gave above and beyond our normal tithes and offerings to help change the system. When I cannot organize something, I will fund organizations that are building an unstoppable political force that will help shape the country that I want my kids to grow up in. Ashton and I, along with the elders and staff, are committed to not settle at diversity. That sounds pretty cliche on a website, but we are committed to the reconciliation of the deepest kind, the kind of reconciliation that starts movements, ends injustices, and brings revival to a city. We must boldly preach the answer, and the answer's name is Jesus.